You were born in 1880 to a very wealthy family in Brussels, and your parents gave you the name Adrien Carton de Wiart. Your mother was Irish, and your father was a well-known Belgian lawyer and politician. Or, that's what your mom told everyone. A lot of people whispered that your real father was King Leopold II, the King of Belgium. He wasn't exactly a great person to be related to, anyway. When you're only 6 years old, your mom passes away, so no one ever finds out for sure. Your dad gets married again, and his new wife thinks it's best for you to go study law in England. Your dad really hopes you'll become a lawyer just like him, so he picks a famous school for you in Oxford. You go, wanting to make him proud, but at school you learn about war, and it sounds incredible. So incredible that you decide you're going to join the army as soon as you can. Your big chance comes when the Second Boer War starts in South Africa. There's just one small problem. You're only 19, but you have to be 20 to join the army. Plus, you're not even British. That doesn't stop you. You make up a fake name, Trooper Carton, lie about your age and say you're 25, and turn in your application. You figure if the British Army says no, you'll just go fight for the other side. The British don't check your background, and soon you're on your way to South Africa to fight for them. Fighting in a real war is way more serious than what your teachers described. You see deep ditches, mud, sharp wire, and explosions, with people dying all around you. It's everything you dreamed it would be. You see that the enemy has put up sharp wire that's stopping your friends from moving forward. You go to your leader and ask if you can run out and move the wire. He calls you a fool and tells you no. That's a bummer. But you quickly see why he said that when enemy snipers shoot you in the stomach and the groin. Because of these wounds, you're sent to the doctors, who find out who you really are. As soon as you heal, you're sent back to school in Oxford. Back in Oxford, all the other students think you're a cool hero, but you feel sad because your time at war felt short and not very exciting. You decide to stay in the British Army and get sent to India, where life is very boring. You spend most of your time exercising to get strong and going hunting. After serving for 8 years, you are finally allowed to become a British citizen. In 1914, you're really eager to get back into a war, so you sign up to go to British Somaliland. There, you'll get to ride a camel and fight a man they call the Mad Mullah. You're very excited. But on your way to Africa, the worst possible thing happens. The Great War begins, and Britain is now at war with Germany. The other soldiers get to fight the best army in Europe, while you're stuck on a boat to Africa to ride a camel and fight this Mad Mullah guy. You're not happy about it. You decide to do your best with the situation and run to the front lines to fight the dervishes. They are very aggressive, so maybe fighting here won't be so bad after all. You sneak up on the enemy, so close you can almost touch them. But then they see you and start shooting. You're shot twice in the face, once in the eye and once in the ear. You're sent back to England, but your eye is hurt so badly that the doctors can't fix it, and they have to remove it. This ends up being a good thing for you, because now you can ask to go fight in the Great War. They really need good officers like you on the front lines in Europe. But there's a problem. They don't want to send a man with an eye patch to fight because they think it will make the army look bad. They say you can go only if you wear a glass eye. You agree and sign the papers to be sent to the war. On your way home, you take out the glass eye, throw it out of your taxi window, and put on a black eye patch instead. You're sent to France to fight in the Great War, and this one is even crazier. There are ditches, sharp wire, and bombs exploding everywhere. It's just what you hoped for. You walk around the front lines, and people keep telling you to get down. But how are you supposed to see all the cool explosions if you keep getting down? The officer under you comes up and says, "I really wish you would get down when the bombs come." Before you can reply, another bomb explodes and throws both of you to the ground. You get up, brush the dirt off, and see a hand lying next to you. You think, "That glove looks like one I have." Oh, that's not good. The palm of your hand is completely blown open, and your fingers are just hanging on by a little bit of skin. And the worst part is, for the first time ever, you had decided to wear a watch that day. Now that watch is broken into tiny pieces inside your arm. You run to the medical tent and ask the doctors to pull your fingers off. They say no, it would be too risky. For the next few years, doctors try to fix what's left of your hand. You get tired of them not being able to fix it, so you just ask them to cut it off. So now, you have one eye and one hand, and you go right back to the fight. You end up in the Battle of the Somme. More than 1 million soldiers will die in this fight, and you're right in the middle of it, leading your men. On July 3, 1916, you lead your group to attack La Boisselle, a very strong German spot. The fight is terrible, but you lead your men. You shoot at the enemy, pull the pins of grenades out with your teeth, and cheer your soldiers on. By night, all the other leaders are either dead or hurt. All of a sudden, you're knocked to the ground. You check yourself to see if you're hurt. Hand? Still there. Eye? Still there. Head? Uh-oh. The back of your head has been shot off by a machine gun. But luckily, the bullet missed anything important. Okay, seriously, what does that even mean? You're in the hospital for 3 weeks this time. While you're there, you get the very important Victoria Cross medal for your bravery at the Somme. This just makes you want to fight even more. So, as soon as you're able, you go right back into the action. First, you're at the Battle of Passchendaele, where a bomb hits your hip and blows your clothes off. Next, at the Battle of Cambrai, you get shot in the leg and almost lose it. Then, at the Battle of Arras, you get shot in your other ear. At this point, the generals and doctors are all telling you to please stop going back to the front lines. But you don't listen to them. During another hospital stay, you're lying on a bed, feeling angry with yourself for getting hurt and sent back so quickly. A priest walking around sees your unhappy face. He comes over, looks at your eye patch and says, "Cheer up, it could be worse. A few months ago, I saw a man here who was missing both an eye and an arm." You ask him for the soldier's name, and the priest says, "General Carton de Wiart." What? The war finally ends, and you find life in England to be very boring. So you move to Poland, where all of its neighbors are trying to attack it. You get to fight against the Soviets, the Ukrainians, the Lithuanians, and the Czechs. It's everything you wanted. While in Poland, you try flying in an airplane and get into a crash, but you survive. For your next trip, you decide to take a train. But your train gets attacked by Cossack soldiers, and you have to shoot at them while hanging off the back of the moving train. You fall off but quickly climb back on, and keep shooting at them until they go away. Poland is good to you, and you retire there. You spend the next 16 years hunting every single day. Life is great. That is, until a failed painter from Austria starts another huge war in Europe. Poland is quickly taken over by both the Soviets and the Germans, and you barely escape with your life. You make it back to Britain, and at 60 years old, they give you your old rank back and send you to fight the Germans in Norway. Your job is to capture the city of Trondheim, but everything is going wrong. You think the new soldiers in this war are not as good as the ones from the first war, and the Germans are beating you badly. Soon, your group is called back, and you go to Northern Ireland. You think your time in the army is finally over. But then you're chosen for a special job in Yugoslavia. You get on a plane in Cairo and head to Belgrade, hoping this plane ride will be safer. Your plane crashes near the coast of Libya, which is controlled by Italy. When you swim to the shore, you're immediately arrested. They realize you're an important prisoner and take you to Italy, where you're held for 3 years. You try to escape 5 times. On your last try, you actually get out and spend 8 days free in northern Italy, pretending to be a local. But you didn't speak any Italian, had an eye patch, and were missing a hand. You're caught again. Eventually, Italy decides it wants to leave the war. They use you as a way to make a deal with the British. They even offer to give you a nice Italian suit to wear. You tell them you're fine with free clothes, as long as they don't make you look silly. You're sent back to Britain. Soon after, your good friend Winston Churchill asks you to be his person in China. You fly there, and this time the plane doesn't crash. You quickly start to like the Chinese people. But there's one person you really don't like. A guy named Mao Zedong seems to love communism, and you really don't. At a dinner, Mao is giving a speech. You interrupt him and tell him he's wrong. You say he should stop talking so much and spend more time fighting the Japanese. Mao, surprised, just looks at you for a moment and then laughs. Japan finally gives up in 1945, and you are there as one of the people representing Britain at the official surrender. With the war over, you finally retire for good at age 67. On your way home, you stop in French Indochina, where you slip on a mat, break a few ribs, and get knocked out. Luckily, you survived. That would have been a really bad way to die after everything else you had been through. You move to Ireland, write a book about your life, and later die peacefully at the old age of 83. In your book, you looked back on the Great War and wrote, "Frankly, I enjoyed the war.